Here now is Mick Mulvaney, former chief of staff to President Donald Trump. Mick, you know very well, everything was kind of humming along with the lockdowns ending and businesses getting back to work, anxious to hire the people they need to meet that extraordinary pent-up demand. And suddenly they couldn't find workers. And sure enough, there's a reason for that because of all this money that they are getting paid to stay at home. And a lot of them say, hey, look, I have to take care of my kids. I'm getting paid more for staying at home than going to work. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, thanks, David, for having me, by the way. Yeah, if you want more unemployment, pay people to be unemployed. There's a rule in economics, which is if you want more of something, you subsidize it, which is what the Democrat policies have been doing. The argument was that we needed these extraordinary unemployment benefits during the COVID shutdown. Now, let's be clear, we're talking about the extraordinary benefits here, not the underlying ordinary unemployment insurance that will continue, has continued, is not really a question here. It's the extraordinary stuff. And the Democrats said, well, we'll need this for a little bit of time, along with, they said we need a little bit more time for the earned income tax credit, a little bit more time for child care tax credits. And what you're seeing now is the Democrats taking efforts to make all of these benefits permanent as part of their jobs plan that they've introduced here in the last couple of weeks. So it's not about economics, David. It's not about putting people back to work. It's about policy. Elections have consequences. Democrats won the elections. They're trying now to put their policies into place, and that means paying people not to work.
But now, wait a minute. You just suggested to me that these unemployment benefits are going to go beyond the end of the summer, as the president says they're going to go, and you think they're going to go even further than that? Because small businesses are getting knocked off one by one because they can't service the demand with the few number of workers they have.
Let's just look at the other things that were temporary. The increased premiums for health insurance were supposed to be temporary. Now the Democrats are proposing to make that permanent. The earned income tax credit for families who don't have qualifying children was supposed to be temporary. Now the Democrats want to make it permanent. The child care dependent tax credit was supposed to be temporary. Now the Democrats want to make it permanent. Democrats love it when folks are dependent on the government. I'm not saying that to say Democrats are bad people. That's just their policy. And if they have a chance to extend this program, they're going to take it.
Now, at least I saw an ulterior motive of President Biden. I don't know if I'm willing to go as far as you are, but at least as far as wanting to boost up the minimum wage. And this is, of course, forcing companies that can afford to do so to hire people who were getting $7 an hour at $15 an hour, or even $20 an hour, but they can't do it for long. You're suggesting even more than that the Democrats want an entire class, perhaps you could call it, for lack of a better phrase, the lower middle class, an entire class now on welfare that haven't been used to being on welfare, just so they continue to vote Democrats into office. Is that what you're suggesting?
Keep in mind, if you're dependent on the government, who you're going to vote for. You're going to vote for the folks who are going to give you more stuff. But again, I don't believe that I'm making anything sort of groundbreaking here today. Democrats want these programs to be extended. They want to take advantage of the crisis that we're facing, and it is a crisis. There's no question about it. Did we need to do something special during COVID? Yes, we did. Do these things need to go on forever? No, they don't. But you're going to make a good point, David, which is that this is sort of a backdoor way to get a federal minimum wage of at least $15. If you pay people so much not to work, to where they won't go to work unless they're actually making $15, then sort of de facto you've done a backdoor federal minimum wage.
We only have 40 seconds, but there are two factors that cause inflation here, which is hurting all Americans now. Every single American is hurt by inflation. One is that the fewer workers means you have fewer goods and services made, and that leads to higher inflation. The other thing is the Fed, it keeps printing up money in order to buy the debt that is needed to pay all these people, and that causes more inflation. So won't the pressures of inflation outweigh the other pressures and force politicians to change policies? You only got 10 seconds.
I think they will, but keep in mind the Federal Reserve and Treasury now don't even pay that much attention to the money supply, which is a big part of that inflation equation you just laid out. I think it gives you an indication as to what they think about inflation.
Wow. Mick Mulvaney, doesn't look good. Thank you, Mick. I appreciate it. Well,